This is the Nina Crafts Project Club for September 2014. And we're going to start by using the bubble stamp on the base card. So we're going to use the lilac ink. I like to use Memento, this one's Sweet Plum. I only use this one because it dries quite quickly, so I'm less danger of smudging anything. We need a scrap bit of paper and the bubbles. So we're going to ink up the stamp. First ink onto your scrap and then onto your base card. So we're going to randomly fill all of the base card. Okay, that should do it. Next we need to round the corners, so I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile, and this one has the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 inch rounder. I'm going to use the 1/2 inch, so we need to do all 4 corners. And next we're going to go on to cutting our piece of white card out. You can see on the screen at the moment I've done all the measurements. I thought it'd be a lot easier if I put it in picture form. So if you copy these measurements and cut out your white card, then on the next picture you'll see how I've actually stamped all the little sections. So we're going to do that now. So I've got to the stage where I've done all the other pieces, and we're just going to do the lady in the bath. So the biggest one has the full image on. And then we need this middle size one next, and we're just going to put her in the bath, so we don't need the leg and the bubbles. Just clean that up, don't want it smudging everywhere. And the next one is on the smallest piece, and we just want her and the actual bubbles, so that's right down the middle of the stamp. Again, we don't need the legs, it's just that middle bit we're interested in. Like so. So next I'm going to give them a bit of colour, and then we'll come back then. I've now coloured all my different sections, and the 3 different layers of the lady, I've done just the outside edge, just coloured the outside edge of the first layer, just so that you can't see it when it's actually stacked up. It doesn't give you the white background underneath. I used to colour the whole layer, but that was when I was practicing with my colouring. I've got a little bit more confidence now, so I tend to just do the outside edge. So the second layer, as you can see, she's no legs. I have fully coloured the face, again just the outline of the hat, because we've got the top layer which has got the hat on already, and just the top and bottom bit of her arm, and the well, you could have them as bubbles on here, and that could be the edge of the bath, but I've used it as like a cushion. So the top layer, like I've just said, is just the arm, the bottom of the cushion section, and the hat. So now we're going to cut the corners on this piece, and then we're going to mat it onto a piece of coloured card. Now the coloured card measures, let me see, 12 centimetres by 10 centimetres. Generally when I'm doing a bit of matting and layering, I always go half a centimetre bigger than my original. So with this piece being 11.5 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres, it just gives me that little border. Now you can cut the corners beforehand if you like. I tend to stick my layer on and then do the corners. I can actually judge it a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The sizes for the other images, again, just half a centimetre bigger than the original white one. So we can do that. So I'm going to round the corners and then mat and round the corners on this. Okay, this is the last image. So now we're going to do the shadow on the sentiment. We need the lilac ink again, and we're also going to do this second generation, so we need our scrap paper. Oh, glitter everywhere. I've been doing Christmas cards and I can't get rid of the glitter. Never mind. So we're going to ink up our stamp. I'm going to stamp it first on the scrap, and then we're slightly going to offset it, and luckily you can see through these stamps. That should be about right, and that gives us a nice little shadow effect. So now we're going to round these corners and we're going to layer it and round the corners on the coloured card. So everything's matte and layered, corners cut, and we're going to put a piece of ribbon on there. So you'll have one piece of ribbon. I've cut off enough just to go across the corner, and on the back of this one I've put some double-sided tape. So just across the corner, fold it in. I'm going to put these pieces back on just so that it doesn't stick to everything. I'll do it like that for now. So next we need to position everything on the front of our card. It's up to you how you want to lay it out, but I just went with the flow really, wherever I had a gap. And we're going to attach this, well these, with some foam tape, like so. So I'll just do that. So with my spare bit of ribbon, I'm just making a little bow for the front. Just for there, I'll just trim it down. Okay. So next we're going to use our bit of scrap card, and we need to colour in all the little candies. Now there's 6 candies, and using one of the pro markers we used for the card, I shall colour them in. I'm using the plain white ones, well, the pearlescent white ones. So even when they've been coloured in, you still get that nice sheen. So we're going to do all 6, and then we're going to attach them to the card front using some foam pads. Just moving the glitter out of the way. Gets everywhere. Okay, so now we need to put the different layers on. So we just give a little bit of a shape. Now this bottom layer, I tend to be a little bit heavy-handed, so I'm going to use some foam pads on this bottom layer. If you want to use your silicone, you can do, it's up to you. But what I find is when I'm putting my next layer on, I like to use silicone for that. But I tend to be a little bit heavy-handed and squash it down too much. So if I put foam on, I'm still getting that height. So just like so. And then this next one, again, give it a little bit of a shape, just to curve it a little bit. And I'm going to use a bit of pin flare. But any silicone glue that you have will be just fine, whatever your preference is. Should do it. So I need my tweezers because I end up getting it everywhere. Can't pick things up properly. Okay, so that goes on your top layer. Like that. And I'm also going to use a little bit of pin flare to attach the ribbon, or the bow I should say. That goes just in the middle, like so. So that's this month's card. Thank you. Bye.